Okay, we're continuing the shir about Kabbalah, all sorts of things about learning Kabbalah. This particular shir is mainly going to focus on the interesting thing that we see in the past generations, in the past even a few hundred years, or 400 years even, that Kabbalah has started to become more popular. And here this is going to discuss, within the framework of Kabbalah, why this is happening. Okay, we're going to bring all sorts of mefarshim, Rishonim, earlier mefarshim and later mefarshim, that explain that the idea of Kabbalah becoming more and more open as the time goes on. And this is something that's very clear. A lot of people don't know this. It's a very important principle. So we're going to see it inside Bez Hashem. Okay, first, Re Mashikasuv Mora Zulai, which is the grandfather of the Chida. B'Akdamas Sefer Or Chama, in his introduction to the Sefer Or Chama, Matzasi Kasuv, I found written like this: Ki mashe nignaz lamala shlo yisaska b'chochma semes begilui. The decision in Shemaim that there actually was a like a psak din, a problem, a gzeira, a decree against learning Kabbalah. This was actually in Shemaim, in heaven. There's a decree against learning Kabbalah in open fashion, and in front of other people, or in a way that, or for all sorts of different types of people. Begali means in a revealed fashion, revealed. Hailizman katsu. That decree was only for a set amount of time. It's not forever. Ad tashlum shnas he'alafim reish nun, until the end of 5,250 years from the creation of the world, which is more than, we're now in 5,000 Tuf Shin Ayin Gimel, 5,300 and 500, without 5,000. Sorry, 5,773. That's what year we're in now, and from the year 5,250. The gzeira, the decree in Shemaim for not learning Kabbalah was already taken away. Or the decree was only for a certain amount of time, and at that time the decree ended. And from that time we are called the last generation, and the decree not to learn Kabbalah in public fashion has been taken away. So now we are permitted to learn Kabbalah in a public fashion. And from 50 years afterwards, which was around 400 years ago, from the year 5,300, it's a very special mitzvah for us to learn with a large amount of people, with many people, and even in public. We're not talking about on the streets. We're talking about in a sense like in the Beis Medrash, in a place where people can know about it. It's a mitzvah mina muvcha. It's a very special mitzvah to open it, to learn it. Gdolim uktanim, great people and simple people. It's not only for the biggest tzaddikim of the generation. It's even for simple people like us, or like me. I guess I'm a simple person. I'd like to be a simple person at least. So for regular simple people can start learning Kabbalah even if we're not the greatest tzaddikim. And it's a mitzvah min hamuvcha. It's a very special mitzvah. It's a choice mitzvah. It's a very important thing. Kedisa B'Rai Mehemna, and it says, as it's brought in the Zohar, Rai Mehemna, Parshas Noso, page 124, V'Daf Kuf Chav Dalet Amud Beis. ואחר שבזכות זה עשי לבוא מלך המשיח ולא בזכות האחר אין רוי לישרשע. The Chida finishes off, the grandfather of the Chida, Rav Azulai, finishes off saying that in this merit, in the merit of us learning Kabbalah, Mashiach will come with It's specifically in the merit of us learning Kabbalah that Mashiach will come, and not in any other merit. Therefore, it's not fitting to be lax in this area, in the area of studying Kabbalah. Kabbalah is so important; we must study it, since it is what is going to bring. It alone is going to bring Mashiach, as the Zohar says that Mashiach will come through the study of the Zohar, and that is like a general idea of all of Kabbalah. Through the study of Kabbalah, the Zohar will be fulfilled, or the Mashiach will come berachmim, the Gauls will come berachmim, and not in a very easier way, instead of a very difficult way. That's the grandfather of the Chida, Rav Azulai. He basically says, again, it's important for us to study it. We have permission to study it from the year 5300, which was a while ago, some hundreds of years ago, about 400 or 500 years ago. And from then on, it's already mutter for us to study. It's permitted, and it's even a mitzvah. It's a very special mitzvah for us, because with this we're going to bring Mashiach. But in the Sefer Abris, it says, "Devarim noraim," amazing things, bedavar chavshivus limud soros Torah, about the importance of learning the secrets of Torah. V'navi kan mitzvahs dvarav, and here we're going to bring some of what he says. V'zeh l'shon, and this is what he says. This is the Sefer Habris, a very chashuv sefer. Val tifin lekachas rai migdolei haTorah balei hanigla shelarotzim lasok b'chachma zu. Don't take a lesson from the great rabbis that know Pshat Torah, that know the Gemara and Halacha, that don't want to deal with Kabbalah. Don't learn from them. This is what the Sefer Abris is saying. These are not my words. I'm not choosing to, I'm not making this up. And it's brought by a very chashuv Rav, the Mechaber of the Sefer, the one who put the Sefer together. Not the Mechaber of the Sefer, sorry, the Mesader of the Sefer, this version of Otzos HaChaim. And these are all great tzaddikim that he's bringing without any question. And here he's saying, don't pay attention to the Gedolei Hador, to the great tzaddikim who don't study Kabbalah. If there is such a thing anymore, I don't know if this really exists anymore. I don't know if there are any Gedolei Hador who don't study Kabbalah, but at that time, at least, there certainly were. In the time of the Ramchal, also there were. And don't pay attention to them that they don't want to deal with Kabbalah. They don't want to learn Kabbalah. Why? Ki divrei Chazal b'midrash shebazorah shezacharnu ne'emanim u'batuchim yoser migdolei hador hazeh. Because the midrashim and the Zohar, which all speak about the limud of Kabbalah and the importance of learning Kabbalah, they are more trustworthy, they're more reliable than the Gdolei Hador hazeh. U'be'elef hashishi hazeh, and we're in the 6,000th year. We didn't begin the 6,000, but since we finished 5,000 complete years, we're in the 6,000th year. Sheniftechu shari ora, where the lights of light have already started opening, or have already opened. Shari rachman, the gates of mercy. Ki ukarov le'is keti yamin, since it's close, we are very close to the time of Mashiach. V'simcha shel mitzvah v'nachas ruach gadol ke'is be'ini Hashem. It's a simcha shel mitzvah, it's a very happy thing, and it's a nachas ruach gadol. It brings Hashem a lot of nachas, a lot of satisfaction at this time. Lisparsem shem kavod malchus olam ved, to publicize the great name of Hashem. But prat case shenit pesud is referring to, I think it's referring to Kabbalah. Prat kei shenit pesu kol kisvei. Yeah, I mean, we could see from the context it's clearly talking about Kabbalah. It's important to learn Kabbalah. But prat kei shenit pesu kol kisvei hakodesh lahari luria zal asher pasach lanu shari Torah shahiu stumim v'chasumim be'elef izkin mimos olam. And it's certainly now that we have the writings of the Arizal, which elaborate and explain the words of the Zohar in a way that beforehand were the words of the Zohar were locked with 1,000 types of locks, and it was impossible or very, very difficult for anyone to understand almost anything with it. Now that we have the Arizal explains all the many of the fundamental principles of the Zohar that were completely hidden from us. There was no way that we could have known them. And now it's much easier to learn and to understand the Zohar. The kol dvarav divrei Elokim Chaim, and every word of the Arizal is the words of Hashem. Al pi Eliyahu Navi Zachar Latov, through the Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi taught the Arizal all these amazing things that he understood, that he wrote in his Sfar. These are things that a person cannot create with his own imagination. There's no such thing. It's not even. It could be very difficult to imagine that very impossible if a person looks deeply. Very difficult to imagine, at least, that a person could make up such things. Even based on the Torah, even if you try to darshan it out, it's very difficult to find such secrets and such elaboration in the Zohar Kadosh. And the Arizal did this through a revelation of the Arizal, of Eliyahu Navi. Only through Eliyahu Navi coming to him and speaking to him and explaining to him and teaching to him the deeper secrets of the Zohar was he able to elaborate to such an extent the way he did in his farm. Ubirushuso, Gila Mashagila, and with Eliyahu Navi's permission, and obviously with Hashem's permission, he revealed what he revealed, all the Sfarim of the Arizal. And now, after the Arizal explained so much, there's no way that we can stumble, or we don't have stumbling blocks in front of us, and it's not dangerous. Just like learning Gemara and learning Halacha is not dangerous to us, so too learning Kabbalah and learning the Kisvei Arizal and the Zohar is not dangerous to us. Kasher Kasuv Ba'akdamas Mavashayim, as written in the introduction to Mavashayim Ad Kan Lashon. Okay, this is the Sefer HaBris, saying that now it's very important to learn it, and there's no fear in learning Kabbalah, especially after the Arizal came out. There's no danger in learning Kabbalah. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the Leshem. The Leshem, I think, is the grandfather. I think it's the grandfather of Rav Yashiv, who's alive today. The posek, one of the poskei Ador, the greatest poskim of our generation, Rav Yashiv, or Shlomo Yashiv. I think that's his name. And the Leshem, who was, I think, his grandfather, was a very close relative of his. Actually, the Rav Yashiv of our generation, I think he wrote over the Sfarim of the Leshem. He transcribed it, or he wrote it from the Leshem's writings. He copied it over into a form, I think, to be printed. So these are the words of the Leshem. These are his words. And now permission has been given for everyone who's dealing with this topic, with the topic of Kabbalah, to stand in the topic, each person according to his ability. Especially from the year 600 of the 6,000th year, meaning from Tav Reish, now in Tav Shin Ayin Gimel, from the year Tav Reish, which was around 173 years ago from today, then we have even more permission than we did even in the past. So we see the Chidah started off, the Rav Azulai started off saying that from the year 5,500 we have a tremendous amount of permission, and here he's saying that from the year 5,300, from the year 5,300, Rav Azulai said we have already permission to learn Kabbalah openly and freely, and where the Leshem says that even more so from the year 5,600, which was less than 200 years ago. We had even more permission was given to us. Apparently, more permission, because we already see that there was a certain amount of permission that was given to us at the year 5,300. So even more permission was given to us from the year 5,600. As it says in the Zohar, Parshas Ve'era, and in 600 years, the Sisa of the 6,000th year, with a set of 6,000 years, which is where we're in now, Yispaschu Troy de Chachma Le'ela, V'mavoy de Chachma Tata, V'staken Amal Lala B'Shviyah. The gates, this is specifically in the year 5,000, from the year 5,500, the gates of upper wisdom and the openings of the lower wisdom will be set up, and the world will be set up through this wisdom to go into the 7,000th year. This is an unbelievable Zohar, which is a prediction, a prophecy for what's going to happen, what did start happening at that time. That Kabbalah is taking a new turn, and also when he says the Chachma Tata is apparently, according to some of the Mefarshim of the Zohar at least, that it's talking about the lower wisdom, which is the wisdom of science. That the world will be developed in science, and we will understand how things work in a scientific way, and this will actually prepare the perfection of the world to bring us to the 7,000th year, to the 7,000 years. So this is a prophecy we actually see in a very clear sense by the scientific developments in the past 200 years. How much they've developed so quickly and so much more than they've ever developed in the past, and they're continuing to develop as the Chachma flows into the world. The Chachma that was, again, this was predicted more than 1,000 years ago, that exactly at this time the science would develop so much. This is something that again obviously cannot be done by any human calculation. But here we have the Zohar clearly saying that the gates of wisdom will open up, and we have Rav, we're also called Rav Yashiv, of the Leshem, telling us that we have even more permission from that time on in learning Kabbalah. And what it said when the Leshem explains that when the Zohar says that the gates will open up, that permission has been given to anybody who wants to attach himself to Hashem, to the Hashem, like the Elokim Chaim, to the live Hashem, and to deal with Kabbalah, to learn Kabbalah. He's allowed to go into the wisdom of Kabbalah and to start learning, and to litol es Hashem karoi, and he's able to take the position or the ability to learn and to understand in a fitting way. And anyone who looks into this will understand, and he'll find that none of this permission was not completely given openly before the 600th year of this 1,000 years. Because still everything was completely sealed. Only individuals would learn Kabbalah. From 200 years ago, only individuals learning. Now you could see very clearly that it's if a person like me can get on a little camera and start talking about Kabbalah, we certainly have reached a state that anyone can, or at least anyone does, already start picking up and learning Kabbalah freely. So this is something that specifically happened now. Not 200 years ago, it wasn't. Around 173 years ago, this was not a common thing. We did not find that regular simple people studied Kabbalah. It just wasn't around. Because still 200 years ago, the study of Torah was still hidden. It was only hidden by still unique individuals that would actually pick up and study the Kabbalah. And this is a very powerful ending that we're going to end off with. And this, and so I heard this in the name of the Gaon, Rabbi Shlomo Salanter, one of the founders, or one of the founders of the Musar movement. And this is somebody that everybody, certainly the Litvish people who don't seem to study as much Kabbalah, they certainly listen to, and they certainly believe. And here we see the Leshem is quoting Rabbi Shlomo Salanter saying that from about 170 years ago, already it's permitted for people to learn Kabbalah. We have this in the name of Rabbi Shlomo Salanter, Zichrono Livracha. These are the ends of the words of Leshem Shvov Achlama. Hope this helps, puts a bit of perspective on the study of Kabbalah in our generation and how things have changed over the past number of hundreds of years.